Hello, BookTube. Um, I wanted to do a video talking about some of the stuff that I've read, so you can see me, so you can see Ziggy. Come here. We're doing just fine. Doing just fine. All things considered, you know. I wanted to take part in some of the events that have been going on in July, but I get a little worked up if I try to make or try to plan a bunch of different videos. So I thought I would just try to hit a couple different of the July points. Um, one one thing that I read recently was I read it on my tablet, but it was Ray Bradbury's The Martian Chronicles. I'd read that for the first time, and it feels very apt for the event of Rocket Summer. Consider it must. I don't know if it's from this, but the first chapter is Rocket Summer. Um, this I read this a little while ago, and the themes in it of humanity's push forward and the destruction of Earth um, really were timely. Come here, Ziggy. Um, for instance, we had just the United States had just bombed Iran, and there was a chapter of this that is short, and I wanted to read. November 2005, the luggage store. It was a very remote thing when the luggage store proprietor heard the news on the night radio, received all the way from Earth on a light sound beam. The proprietor felt how remote it was. There was going to be a war on Earth. He went out to peer into the sky. Yes, there it was. Earth, in the evening heavens, following the sun into the hills. The words on the radio and that green star were one and the same. I don't believe it, said the proprietor. It's because you're not there, said Father Peregrine, who had stopped by to pass the time of evening. What do you mean, Father? It's like when I was a boy, said Father Peregrine. We heard about wars in China, but we never believed them. It was too far away. There were too many people dying. It was impossible. Even when we saw the motion pictures, we didn't believe it. Well, that's how it is now. Earth is China. It's so far away, it's unbelievable. It's not here. You can't touch it. You can't even see it. All you see is a green light. 2 billion people living on that light. Unbelievable. War? We don't hear the explosions. We will, said the proprietor. I keep thinking about all those people that were going to come to Mars this week. What was it? 100,000 or so coming up in the next month or so? What about them if the war starts? I imagine they'll turn back. They'll be needed on Earth. Well, said the proprietor, I'd better get my luggage dusted off. I got a feeling there'll be a sale here any time. Do you think everyone now on Mars will go back to Earth if this is the big war we've all been expecting for years? It's a funny thing, Father, but yes, I think we'll all go back. I know we came up here to get away from things: politics, the atom bomb, war, pressure groups, prejudice, laws. I know, but it's still home there. You wait and see. When the first bomb drops on America, the people up here will start thinking. They haven't been here long enough. A couple years is all. If they'd been here 40 years, it'd be different, but they got relatives down there in their hometowns. Me, I can't believe in Earth anymore. I can't imagine it much. But I'm old. I don't count. I might stay on here. I doubt it. Yes, I guess you're right. They stood on the porch watching the stars. Finally, Father Peregrine pulled some money from his pocket and handed it to the proprietor. Come to think of it, you Better give me a new valise. My old one's in pretty bad condition. We love this place. You know, we were. I think I don't know if it's what he had in mind, but with technology, like we see the world as if it's something that happens through our screens, and there's that type of disconnect, and it's interesting to think of it in that symbolism, like what he's saying. These people are on Mars. They say it's like they were kids. They heard war in China. It's like hearing about. I mean that, and that's how the United States functions with war is, and the American advantage, the continents. Um, Anyways, I really enjoyed reading the Martian Chronicles. There's a lot of fun stories in it, um, about the first couple trips to Mars and the kind of civilization that's there, and there's a lot of really great, even scary, like on the brink of horror stories in it. Um, Something else I finished reading recently was Middlemarch by George Eliot. Um, this was a lot of fun. Um, it wasn't easy. I mentioned in the last video that I was reading it, and I'm glad to have finished it. I know it would be a lot easier to read the second time around, and ever since, I feel like part of my maturity could be owed to this book. You know, whatever maturity I do have, um, the the themes and the the compassion that exist within this book, and the brilliance of the prose, uh, the the connections of the references. There were some things I didn't translate, like there might be like a French or an Italian verse to start off a chapter, and I like to read those, and I'll get the rhythm, and but it takes me out of the text if I go to translate the. Um, I just know on future reads when I'm more comfortable with these languages, especially the Romance. There's not like Chinese. I really enjoyed Middlemarch. I'm watching the film adaptation, well, the TV adaptation now that BBC did. Um, it's helping me solidify more the themes, the stories, um, and how the characters connect, and it's fun to see the how, for instance, Casaubon has a family member, his aunt, he said, went away to a bad marriage. I thought that was funny, in the context of Dorothea Brooke, who ends up in a bad marriage with Senor Casaubon. So um, it's there's a lot of fun little tight little circles that the book does. Come right here. um, and then for the next event that I wanted to do, I wanted to start reading. I hadn't read any Jane Austen, which you know I didn't. I knew that I wanted to, and the only thing that can make you want to read Jane Austen more is actually reading her because oh my gosh, she's so good. um, I started with Northanger Abbey. There's this pretty lady on the front. Um, by Sir William Beechey. It says it's of Miss Harriet Beechey. I don't know because that's Harriet's not in this book. But this is about Catherine, and she goes to a town on some like vacation or something for a few months, and meets a lot of people, and is she's young. She's like I don't know 17, 19, something like that, and um, she's trying to understand society and what is expected of her, but she has somewhat of a moral education. Like she she's established as like kind of simple-minded, um, which I can appreciate. I like how Jane Austen portrays Catherine as like a totally average heroine. She always describes her as the heroine of the story, um, the female hero. And there's like the romantic element of the heroine and who finds the hero, and they have this romantic love story, and that's kind of satirized in this, I guess. Um, it's fun to see the characters brush right up against the tropes, and like that ties into a big theme, and a word I would say I guess encompasses the novel is that of misconception, um, where someone or miscommunication, like where the intention of someone is mixed up in the meaning of someone else, or like where people will be steadfast in their intentions, and there will be whole conversations which are just people kind of talking at each other, or like one person trying to like be, usually Catherine, trying to be um, empathetic, and there's this wonderful girl named Isabella who's the primary culprit of most of the whimsy, I guess, uh, in the story. It's it was a lot of fun to read, and it made me very excited to read more Jane Austen, especially because I talked to some people and they were like, "Oh, it's not my favorite of her novels," and so I knew that there was kind of an upward trajectory in store for me potentially. And that's for this event of Jane Austen July that's going on. That's one reason I wanted to have this video published. Um, let's to go away from Jane Austen for a moment. I recently read for the first time. I I, I got a library copy, so I don't have the book with me. But this was the cover of the version I read, "The Turn of the Screw" by Henry James, and I like this picture of the woman holding the child with this blank doll-like expression on her face. Like um, it's curious before you know the story, and it's curious afterward. It's I I knew nothing going into it. I'm very thankful that I had no spoilers of this story, and thus I don't want to share any myself in case someone hasn't read or seen some film adaptation of this before. I guess it's almost like not a trope, but like an arch plot, like in a horror thing, like the creepy kids. Yeah, I don't want to go into too much about it because it's such a short story. I think it's a lot of fun. I don't really care to go too in depth into the horror elements or the spooky stuff. I enjoyed James' prose. Um, I think he did a good job writing a woman. Not that I'm a woman, but I was surprised that there was the first person narrative of a woman, and that it didn't feel um, didn't feel forced. Um, felt natural, and it made the plot make sense. To continue with Jane Austen, which you could tell by the smile on my face is what I really want to talk about. Um, I started reading Emma, and I'm having a lot of fun. There's this already I can tell is like a complex character study. I'm about 100 pages in, but I Emma is a very specific type of person, a person that's like young, prideful, and above average intelligence, but that pride will often lead her into the saying the wrong thing and or making the wrong impression. And she tries to almost play God in her community and um, be the matchmaker. And it's interesting. I wanted to read this one in particular because my mom has read it and um, she said that she liked it. So I want to be able to talk with my mom about it, and that kind of excites me. So I'm enjoying it a lot. Jane Austen is writes in a more simple fashion than compared with George Eliot. Um, but I think probably 99% of the world does. Henry James was probably kind of similar in prose style, but reading Jane Austen now after reading other 19th century British writers, like I'm able to kind of keep up, and it's a lot of fun. It's the pace is quick. The Sometimes you'll end up in an expositional section that carries on a little bit, but soon you're in some clever dialogue bit, or suddenly you're reading verse poetry, and it's a lot of fun. I've gotten more books. I'm trying to increase my reading speed to keep up with the books that I'm getting. Um, I'm getting there. I'm quite a ways away. Um, Especially if I get books from the library and stuff, I keep buying books and then I'll check out a book from the library and read it. I can't be helped or stopped. Anyways, that's an update on what I've been reading. Um, Thank you for watching. I'm happy to participate in some of these events, even though it's in this roundabout way. Um, Big scoop of my net. Catch all the events in one scoop. Have a good day, everyone. Thank you for watching.